Now I'm here to talk about leaking roofs. And why am I able to talk about that? I am able to do so because I have the experience and I am also a trained construction engineer. A leaking roof is one of the most annoying things that anyone can experience. One of the reasons why we have this big problem with the leaking roofs, especially concrete slabs, is because sometimes when people are building, they intend to go upstairs. So the roof slab that they have now was not intended to be a roof slab. It was intended to be a suspended floor slab. A roof slab should really have another layer of thin concrete on top of the structural concrete that is called the screed. So if you don't have the screed on it and the roof is exposed to the elements, then over time you will develop a leak because the water will settle on the slab, because the slab would have been generally flat, because the idea was that you were going to go upstairs with another floor. With a generally flat surface, you're going to have the water settling, staying longer to run off, and it will penetrate the slab. When it penetrates the slab over time, the steel in the slab will start to corrode. What we call it, get rusty. And when that happens, the steel will expand, and that expansion from the steel will cause the concrete to crack. Now this will happen in multiple areas, and when that happens, then you will have leaks. Maybe multiple leaks. The water will enter at one point and may come out at another. So sometimes when you're having the leak, where you see the water coming out is not necessarily where the water enters. And this happens because of gravity, free fall. So it enters one place, it runs out at another place. The challenge that the people repairing the roof for you may face, because they decide to fix this area that you identify that that's where the water is coming out, when that's not the area that the water enters. For our team, we usually take a wider area and we waterproof that general area to safeguard against this problem, because over the years we have learned that, and from time to time we see where you fix one area and you hear that it's still leaking. So I suggest that you do a wider area. The material that I'll recommend for that is called a waterproofing membrane, and that comes in sanded and unsanded. We have used it over the years and found it to be very good, and it has a long life. It's also very good for other roofing type as well. If you intend to have a slab roof, originally you want to have a roof is a slab, it must be done to a fall. Right? So you start at one height and it tapers off to another. If you have it dead flat here, you will have challenges. So I'm suggesting that that is the way that you should design your roof slab. So a roof slab is really different from a suspended floor slab that people leave open. After you have fixed your roof slab by waterproofing it with the waterproofing membrane, or any other product of your choice, but the waterproofing membrane is the one that I recommended for the leaking roof slab. So after you've done that, more than likely you would need to do some works to the underside of the slab, which is the inside part, which is in your house or your building, whatever type of building you have. White powdery substance on the ceiling or on walls is because of the presence of water interacting with the cement component of the concrete, and after the water dries out, it leaves a salt on the surface of the concrete. So that salt is not good at all for finishing work, and so you have to get rid of it. So first of all, you need to clean off all that white flaking substance there, or even the peeling paint. You need to get rid of that. Clean the surface as best as possible. Then you need to treat the surface with alkali sealer. You can get that at the paint stores, the ones that manufacture them. You can check around. I'm not promoting any particular organization. The sealer will provide a seal for the concrete to protect it against the salt. Because if you paint the wall as it is, it's not going to bond, because the powder substance is still in the wall and you can't bond a powder to paint. So you need to have a sealer to treat the salt. If you have spalling concrete, that means the concrete dropping out after the steel expand and the crack occurs, you may have spalling where the concrete break away from the steel. An assessment should be done to determine how badly the reinforcement, the steel in the slab, has deteriorated and whether it is localized in just one area or it is widespread, meaning all over the slab. From this, you'll be able to determine what steps to be taken going forward. If damage to the steel is minimal, then you could proceed with treatment of the steel and repairs to the slab. So firstly, you would get rid of all loose concrete, because remember you have the spalling, so there may be other concrete sections that are loose, and you should tap on it with a hammer and ensure that you get rid of those. Don't let them fall in your head though. So you get rid of the loose concrete, and that will also help to provide a rougher area, which is a key for whatever plaster or mortar that you're going to apply afterwards. So that's good to get that extra roughness. So you get rid of the loose material from the slab, and you also get rid of the loose material from the steel with a wire brush. Then you apply primer, an approved coating to the steel to protect it going forward, and then you're ready to apply your plaster or your mortar. So it depends on cavity that you end up with after you have done the removal of the concrete and also getting to the steel work. I usually recommend sure coat if it's minor, if the depth of the area is minor, and sure patch if it's a bigger cavity, or you can use regular 1 to 3 cement sand mortar. Of course, you will sand after it's dried, and then you're ready to apply your paint to finish off. For the soffit of your slab, which is your ceiling, usually you use flat emulsion paint, and most people use white. I am not a traditionalist. I use other colors for other things, even for ceiling, but light color, water-based, emulsion, pastel color can be used, but white is the traditional color that people use for the ceiling. I will do probably another post to talk about how you would treat the leaking walls, concrete block walls, at different levels, because you could be having the water penetrating at your floor level, which would be because of groundwater, or you could have it coming in at higher levels, which suggests to me that it's coming in from the slab, because the slab, the beams and the walls are connected. From pipes, drain pipes in your walls, that could be a case also. If the corrosion to the steel is significant, meaning that the steel has lost quarter or so, about 25% of its diameter, it would have lost too much of its diameter and its strength, and therefore the slab could be compromised. In that case, if the corrosion to the steel is localized, meaning just one area, for that specific area you may need to replace the steel there. So you'd have to demolish that section, cut out a section, replace the steel, tie them in with the original steel work, and then you pour back your concrete there and do your finishing afterwards. If the deterioration of the steelwork is significant and widespread, it may result in a complete replacement of the slab, because the structural integrity of the slab would be overall compromised and therefore not safe. After you have done all of this work with the repairs, you would need to observe your slab going forward to ensure that things are not changing, further deterioration. If you have any questions, please engage me in the comments and I'll be happy to assist. Bye.